Sports.
The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
And New York sports.
Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
And the unique history and relationship between the two cities. With Mike Carr.
You're so money and you don't even know it.
And Adam Turkel.
I agree. Nobody's madder about than I am. They're going to say that, and I'm going to look at them and say, "Hi, you're right."
This is the Battle for I-95 podcast, starting now.
All right, welcome to the Battle for I-95 podcast. This is episode 35, and we are coming to you live from the comfort of our little shitholes. And as always, we are brought to you by Easy Moving. Moving's hard, do it the easy way. Servicing Fairfield, Connecticut, and removal in New York. I am one half of your team. I am the coach, Adam Turkel, and my partner is Mike Carr. How are you doing today, Mike?
Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful weather. Everything is great. Phillies are doing good, and I can't wait to talk about it.
Yeah, we're gonna get to all that stuff. We got we got some college hoops, obviously, with the Final Four underway, and everything that led to it. And we obviously both our teams are now in regular season baseball, kind of feeling out the beginning of the season. The first week of the season is pretty much a wrap now. Things looking good from all sides, really. When you speak of our two states, the Phillies, the Yankees, and the Mets. Everybody's kind of moving along. And, of course, the debacle that is the New York Rangers in hockey, the, most disappointing team maybe ever bought. And, we have other things too. But before we get to any of that sports talk, Mike, I got a big announcement to make for us. And it starts with this.
This
is just in. For all 80 of you listeners out there, okay? The Battle for I-95 for the first time is going to go live stream as of our next show. Well, Turk, what's the difference if you're live streaming? Well, now you're going to be able to comment on our commentary. Uh-oh. And we may even get some interaction. Hopefully along the way, maybe get some special guests to jump in on our live stream shows like that. You'll still be able to consume our media the way you always have, via podcast, via YouTube. But now you'll have the ability to deal with us live, which means if we fuck it up, it's going to happen live. So,
do it live. Fuck it.
Do it live.
Do it live.
Do it live. So, and now I'm going to make a second part of an announcement to go with that. Along with that, in a couple of weeks, once we start live streaming and we're getting our feet wet, we're going to go a little more local touch, meaning we're going to dip out of the professional realm for a show. And we're going to go to something that me and Mike both know very well. It's something I was involved with for the better part of 30 years. And that is the state of minor league / semi-pro football and lower level arena football, which I'm sure a lot of people don't realize while these guys get paid, it's not something you can make a career off of. It's, it's nice to make a few bucks to play, but it's literally that, making a few bucks to play. So a lot of these leagues are very unstable. More unstable than the leagues are the teams. And there's a lot to talk about with that, Mike, and that should be an interesting show when we get to that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, especially both of our experiences. Yours in the Jersey, New York area. You don't.
Philly, too. Don't leave me out of Philly.
And Philly. And
coached
Philly.
the team in Philly for 3.5 years.
And then, mine with the Reading area. And, my semi-pro my semi-pro experience in Philadelphia, too.
Right. So, between you and I know there's a lot of people that know me in the semi-pro community because, as I said, I've coached in all 3 states. I've been a commissioner of leagues. More people know me than don't on those levels. And I think it's time that some of the issues within are addressed publicly, And again, something I'm looking forward to us touching, but that is not for today, Mike. That is not for today.
Yeah.
What we will start with today, we will start basic because we are now nearing the end of the NBA season, which you are probably thanking the heavens is over, and which
Thank you. I can hear those lottery
waiting.
balls spinning right now.
Well, listen, the Sixers have, I got to tell you, I'm flabbergasted at where they ended up compared to where the season started. I never thought this was a team that wouldn't even make the play-in. I never thought that this was a team that was going to just, I always break your balls about, Embiid never plays and Paul George is always hurt, but that was literally the fact. It literally became what happened.
They pulled the Jets. They pulled the New York Jets move and just.
Wow. So we're going to throw my team under the bus. No, my team is just run like shit. Your team fell apart. There's a difference, okay?
You don't think we're ran like shit?
Well, you're until this year a perennial playoff team,
right?
A perennial
playoff team.
Yes, which means
that
you're
never
in the
made it
playoffs
past the second round with one of the best players in the world as the captain and the head of the team.
Well, I didn't say you were a good perennial playoff team. I said you were a perennial playoff team.
Oh boy!
So the Sixers are mercifully getting it over. I think that them not making the playoffs really gives you pause, right?
Mm-hmm.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs?
Yeah, there's no talking about playoffs with the Sixers this year.
None.
But there is a team that plays 90 miles north from you that is a little bit of an enigma.
The Jersey Devils?
That is go suck it. Okay, that's my New York Knickerbockers. Okay, now there's some interesting things with the Knicks, right? And I didn't think I'd be at this point this season. And what I mean by that, Mike, is there's 7 games left in regular season, and I still haven't seen this full team play together a single game. So while Mitch Robinson was out most of the year, and then you had other injuries, Robinson comes back, Brunson goes down, Deuce McBride goes down. They all go down. And all of a sudden, Cam Payne is starting at point guard. And then they bring in some dude from Milwaukee that they traded a bag of balls for. And he's starting. And yet, in the games Brunson's missed, the Knicks are now 7-4. Not terrible. The positives of the Brunson injury. Remember I talked about this, Mike? I was hoping there'd be some positives.
Yeah.
And the positives I was hoping for were guys that were maybe underperforming, stepping up. Say hello to OG Anunoby. OG Anunoby, over his last 6 games, is over 20 points a game, over 7 rebounds, and over 3 assists, and is knocking down threes at a 42% tile hit. I mean, he's been stupendous. But both sides of the floor. Mikal Bridges has picked his game up. Karl-Anthony Towns continues to be a consistent factor. So now what I hope is that when the Knicks finally have their whole team, which should be today. No, it won't be their whole team. Brunson comes back today. They don't have McBride back yet. They're still waiting on a couple of point guards. They're really light there. But you do get Brunson back today. And I'm hoping that what these other players have now started to do in Brunson's absence can continue with Brunson running the show, which would drastically improve the Knicks' chances of winning in the postseason.
Okay, well, hey, you guys, basically the whole playoff scene, like you said, is set too. We do have a few games left. Not much in playoff positioning can really change. So with that, I mean, you're looking at the one plays 8.
We got the 3-6 matchup.
You're going to have the 6 matchup, which is the Detroit Pistons or the Bucks.
Right. And I got to tell you, Mike, I prefer the Bucks.
You prefer the Bucks?
Yes, because the Pistons are a hot young team, and the Bucks just lost Lillard for the year.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you what, man. Cade Cunningham on Detroit, he's the real deal. That team is turned from a 16-win team into a team that's going to make the playoffs. And the reason I don't want them in the first round is because they're young, energetic, and they run all over the place, and they're going to tire the shit out of you. Now, I think the Knicks would still win the series, but it might take more gas than it will against Milwaukee. The Knicks beat the dog shit out of Milwaukee last time they played them. Absolute dog shit out of them. Milwaukee is not what they were, and now with Dame out, Giannis basically playing point forward. That's not going to get it done for them. So, yeah, they're in position for the 6. I prefer them. I think the Knicks can't overlook their first-round opponent. I think that they have to get in sync because we know who they're getting in the second round, and that's going to be Boston.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nick Kryptonite.
And Boston and excuse me, Cleveland are just they're just still playing out of their minds right now. Boston.
I'm going to say this about Cleveland. I don't believe in them, Mike.
They got to They got to prove it. They have to prove it. That they haven't really. I understand their record, and for the negative 6 people that watch us every week.
Wow, you dropped us into the negatives now, huh?
I think we lost everybody.
What the fuck?
We've been saying the same thing. Like, Cleveland can win as many games as they want this year. They have to prove it, come June and July. And they have to make it deeper than, they have to make it to at least the Eastern Conference Finals, I would say, to even be considered a valid team going in the next year. We go, yeah, we got to watch Cleveland.
Well,
much like the Sixers.
I think there's a good chance. I think there's a good chance Cleveland does make it to the conference finals, and I will say this for the Knicks: if the Knicks get by the Celtics, and they're going to be a heavy underdog, Celtics are beating their brains in this year. But again, Knicks haven't had their full team once. If they beat Boston, the Knicks will beat Cleveland and go to the finals. They will. So, to me, the Knicks' whole season is going to be in that Boston series. That's going to determine whether they got a shot to be what they were built. The Knicks were built to win this year, Mike. That trade for Towns and the trade for Bridges was not a future move. It was, okay, we're now in a 3 to 4 year window to seriously compete for the championship move. And the way you do that, and I've seen it before, Mike. I've seen teams beat the dog shit out of teams in the regular season and then lose in the playoffs to them.
Yeah. We say it all the time here in Philly.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's chalk up the 76ers to pulling off that accomplishment a couple of times. Yeah. Right? So it's not uncommon in the NBA that when you're a good team, that if a team owns you in the regular season, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to lose to them when you're playing 7 consecutive games, because you're getting a little more intimate with each other now. We're going to find out who's tougher. We're going to find out who grinds a little harder, who can handle the banging around of a playoff series. And I think the Knicks will be game. I don't know. I'm not saying they're going to beat Boston. Okay. I'd be a fool just to outright say that. But I think they're going to be game. I think it's going to be a series and they're going to fight. And I'm looking forward to getting there because this is the first year of that window for the Knicks, Mike. And, you never know what next year brings. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Look at the Sixers again.
Yeah. We went from the top team in the conference
to a lottery team.
To a lottery pick.
Yeah.
Just like that. Overnight. Yeah. Oats overnight. It's time. It like I told you in the beginning, it really does suck over here. And I feel bad for we're $2 seats. $2 to go to a friggin' game. Granted, I would pray the Knicks were playing you the end of the season so I could have went to a game in Philly. Right. That was our plan. We were like, the rivalry is going to begin, and this New York Philly rivalry that never really had its start.
Right. We talked about that when we first got on the air last year.
It was always the Knicks were good and the Sixers were bad, and the Sixers are good and the Knicks are bad.
And now they fucked us again. The Knicks are good and the Sixers are bad.
And they happened again. Yeah. So, we never got a chance to do that. No. We suck again. But, little segue into with the college. I don't know who would be really coming up, except for this Cooper Flag kid. So, like the Sixers when they picked Maxey, it was a bit of a shock. Like we never expected this kid to be.
Well, Maxey was good in college. We didn't realize this game was going to translate this good to the pros.
And that fast.
Jalen Brunson is like that too, so they're kind of similar in that way.
Yes. You know, especially you don't see a lot of guys come out of Nova,
right, and become superstars. You see, Nova gets players in the NBA, but it's rare you see one become a superstar. Yeah,
superstar. I mean, we're talking. They had two titles in the 2010s, so to speak, and not one person except for that Jalen Brunson, that team. Mikal Bridges.
They got a few, Bridges, Hart's really
that were talked about.
Hart's a really, really good player. I think he became better than anybody thought he'd be.
Yep. Yeah. And that was I think the more dominant too. I think that was the team that played Michigan.
Yes, it was.
And just annihilated them.
Mm-hmm.
Just embarrassed them. You know, they looked like a Duke at the time. You know, the 90s Duke teams, they just completely embarrassed Michigan in that title game, as compared to the North Carolina game, which I still think is the best shot in college basketball history. Kristen's making that 3-pointer to beat North Carolina was just.
It's a million years ago.
It was. It was.
It's back in the Stone Ages when that happened. Jesus. Christian, I think for a second. Wait, he means
I didn't have a beer.
Wait a second. Yeah. Well, look, the Knicks, going into this playoff, this season's been a little underwhelming because for the first time in 20 years, really, there's expectations now. Last year the Knicks were the tough team that could. They could battle with you. They could fight you. They'll scratch. They'll claw. They'll out rebound. They'll out hustle you. Guys went down. Guys get hurt. They kept hustling, kept scrapping. Won a series. Should have beat Indiana if they don't lose. I still say if they didn't lose OG Anunoby in your cheap shot ass series, that they beat Indiana. I'm still saying that. And yes, that was a cheap shot by Embiid. He should go burn for it. Okay, but nonetheless, this year the Knicks came in as a way more talented team. Ability to score, which they've shown. They're top 3 in the league in points. Maybe not as much hustle. Lost a little something. Feistiness by losing Hartenstein and losing Dante DiVincenzo. But I've seen a lot of teams that when they're very talented don't really turn it on until the playoffs. And that's what I'm hoping for with the Knicks. Like last year, they fought to 50 wins. This year, they're kind of coasting to it. Injuries and all. No Mitch Robinson 3/4 of the year. Now no Brunson the last few weeks. And they're still, like I said, 7-4 in that time period. So they're kind of just cruising along, getting into the playoffs. They're locked in really to the 3 seed. You kind of know who their opponents are going to be. Now it has to be go time for this team. If this team comes out and loses in the first round, Mike, Tibbs is going to get fired.
So I was going to ask you that. If he loses, would you even say the second round too?
No,
the semis.
No, because it's Boston. But listen, I think that everybody in the Knicks building and you and me, for the most part, are pretty sure Boston's better. That's all there is to it, right? So if he loses to a team he's supposed to lose to, you can't. Now, if Boston sweeps them,
what if it's just an ass whooping?
If it's an ass whooping, that's almost as bad as a first round loss. He could go for that too. He could.
Okay.
Now I love Tibbs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tibbs has brought us back from death. He really has. I think he deserves a lot of rope. But the question in New York, and it's on Sports Talk Radio, is Tibbs good enough to get the chip? He's never had it happen.
Right?
Is he a good enough coach to make his playoff adjustments and to adapt to things to make his team better? Now, when you look at who you're going to have to face, right? Again, nothing personal, Cleveland, but fuck you. You're not that good. You're not as good as your record is. Okay? But Boston is. They're the defending champs. They have arguably two of the best players in the conference on their team. They're a scoring machine when they turn it on. They love lighting up the Knicks. Love doing it, right? So if you lose to them and it's competitive and you lose in 6 or 7, okay. If you lay down like a dog and you get run over on the road, I could see the Knicks making a change. I could see, and there's a couple of guys out there. You know the name I'm going to say, Mike, the one that's going to make you cry.
Listen, I really don't see that happening ever. I really don't ever see that happening.
So
I think he goes back to college before let's say the name. Let's get it out there. It's Jay Wright.
Jay Wright.
Right. He had so many opportunities.
Some of his guys, though, Mike, it's a little different.
I understand, but he had so many opportunities to go pro.
Were his guys on any of those teams?
Yeah, sure. Listen, there's probably been plenty of guys that he coached.
I'm being a fucking owl. Who? Tell me one of those players was on one of those teams.
I understand you have the big Villanova 3 locked up. But what I'm saying is he's had so many and to make the money and to get the fame, and he could have been that guy. He wanted to stay at Nova, and he didn't want to deal with the professional realm.
And then he left Nova. He left Nova because it became worse than the pros with the NIL money, and now you have to really compete with like free agents and shit.
So Nova just lost last night in the Golden Crown tournament.
What?
Yes.
The Golden Showers tournament? What?
Yeah, Golden Crown or Golden. I don't know. They have another tournament where if you have a winning record but didn't make the NIT or the national tournament, the March Madness tournament, and it's for $300,000. The winning team wins $300,000.
Wow.
So the winner of that tournament is going to win $300,000.
Right.
It's college. It's college. You know?
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
It's professional now.
It's professional.
Yeah. It's lower level professional. Let's call it what it is. You know?
Yeah.
The funny thing about the Knicks with Tibbs is before you fire Tibbs, you have to think, are you replacing him with someone better? Right?
Yes.
Because there's no point to firing Tibbs if the Knicks fall on their faces if you're just doing it just to do it. I mean, a guy I would have wanted is no longer available, which is Kenny Atkins. He's in Cleveland now. Mm-hmm. You know, Jay Wright, because of his familiarity with his players and his ability to motivate, if he wanted a pro job. I don't know who else moves the needle for me, Mike, that I look at and say, okay, I'm willing to let go of Tibbs because I think this guy can get us over the hump and get us to a finals. Other than the couple of guys I just mentioned, who's available? Nobody.
You have to go into the college ranks somewhere, and you're going to find a no-name guy.
Yeah, but if you're going to go college ranks, you can't go for some schlub who's getting his first pro shot. You got to get someone maybe that's done it before, maybe a Calipari, or dare I say, hurt my St. John's, a Patino. But I don't think Patino wants to do that. I think St. John's is his last stop. He's going to do this for as long as this goes, and that's a wrap because he's not a young man anymore.
Right. Yeah. And they come in to it's a big change.
Yeah.
Well, it's not that
I don't want a
big of
Mike
change
D'Antoni.
anymore.
I don't want another retread like that, a Mike D'Antoni, or dare I say a Nick Nurse if Philadelphia lets him go. Yeah. I don't want one of those. You know, I don't think that gets the job done. It's a tough spot, Mike. The Knicks, if they're going to keep Tibbs, they got to play well in that second round. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. I honestly think you have to keep him regardless. Just because of what you said right there. There's nobody really. You'd be getting rid of him just to
get rid of
the
him.
buck.
Right.
You know.
Now, if you tell me they've had side conversations already with, let's dare say, Jay Wright, right?
Yeah.
And Wright's said, yeah, I might be interested. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
You know, and then they talk to him for and say, okay, if we let go of Tibbs, do you really want you know,
You would have to get
a hard.
You'd have to get a hard commitment.
You'd have to know
right.
he's good. He's willing to take the job if you let go of Tibbs.
Yeah, yeah. And besides the players and the fact he's from the New York area, I still don't see it, because Jay Wright always wanted his players. You had to graduate college to go to Villanova. He didn't go out and look for the guy who was always the top, basketball player. He wanted you to be a team player, and he wanted you to finish your 4 years. Nobody in any of that dynasty era of Villanova was a one and done.
Well, because Villanova is more of an academic school than anything.
Yeah, and it's not easy. Yeah, right.
It's not an easy school to get into. It's almost like an Ivy League school without being an Ivy League school, Villanova.
Right. But at the same time, their basketball program was very well respected, to the point where they were getting exposure. So why wouldn't a kid want to go there who wanted to go right into the league?
All right. Well, I don't want to beat this over the head, right? But Jay Wright's accomplished a lot.
Yes.
He's won NCAA titles. He's sent a bunch of players to the NBA that are successful.
Mm-hmm.
He goes to Knick games.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I think this has a chance to be different. Okay, so number one, you're getting to coach a small core of your old players who already carry your work ethic forward, because you're the one they learned it from in college. And one thing Tibbs has definitely installed is work ethic, right?
Yeah.
So that's advantage one. Advantage two, like you said it, he's from the area. He's not relocating all over the country. He's not going to Houston. He's not going to LA. He's right here, right? Number three, what accomplishment would be the icing on the cake? An NBA title.
Yeah.
And this team, the Knicks currently, are close. Close enough that maybe with a tweak of a change, they are championship ready. Now, something that has surfaced that I really don't know how I feel about it, right? Phoenix is going to part with Kevin Durant.
Mm-hmm.
And New York was interested at the trade deadline, and he's interested in New York. I think I said this to you in the beginning of the season. I think Kevin wants to make up for his mistake of going to the Nets instead of the Knicks. I think he knows that was a colossal error. Colossal. So, if the Knicks make a move, let's say, dare I say, Anunoby, McBride, and a first-round pick for Kevin Durant. Now maybe you're a championship-ready team. You're literally, if the Knicks want to go big, can run out Robinson, Towns, and Durant as the three.
Where he needs to, that's where he needs to be at.
Dude, that's 3 7-footers out there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's tough to play against. I don't care who you are. That's tough to deal with. So now, again, I'm mixed feelings on this because Durant is 35, going on 36. He has the last couple of years, last 4 years now, had injury history where he misses some games a year. He's still one of the best ball in the bucket guys in the association.
Absolutely.
He can drop 35 on you any given fucking night. I got to tell you, it'd be a gamble. But, man, it might be a gamble worth taking. So, if you put this whole cluster of shit that I just threw against the wall together, right? Yeah. And you get Jay Wright, and you make a trade to bring in Kevin Durant, if you're Jay Wright, that's not tempting.
I think you need to turn your Xbox off. That's all.
Wow. Wow.
That's all. I think, like I said, Jay Wright is very much enjoying retirement.
I think he's bored. That's what I think.
I think you think you're Jay Wright. I think you think you're Jay Wright.
No, because if I was, I'd be in the building
I was
already.
very successful in Philadelphia, and now I want to go coach my home team. I get it.
So what makes you think he doesn't think like me?
I mean, what makes you think that I think that he thinks that we think? We could sit there and talk about things.
But you know that I know what you know that I know.
But then, if I want to keep hearing about your thoughts, I'm going to bill your medical company for psychiatric treatment.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
The point is.
Oh no!
I don't see Jay Wright going pro anytime soon.
I will say this. I think there's a better chance of him going pro than him going back to college.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because the college, quote unquote, transfer portal, aka free agency, is much more complicated than the NBA because everything is a year-to-year fucking deal. It's you know, there's no 3-year deals. There's no there's no stability now. You literally have to re-recruit your team every fucking year and have the energy to do it.
Right. And that was something that he made sure even before NIL is that he had 4-year commitment out of you.
Right. Right. And so that's why he'll never go back to the college game. That's why. So again, not ideal, a little different, but it is an empty space on his shelf in his trophy room. The NBA trophy. And what kind of god would he become in New York City, his hometown, if he came back here and took the Knicks to the promised land for the first time in 53 years?
And that would physically make me sick to my fucking
Yeah, I mean,
as much as listen, we love Jay Wright here. Anybody, most Philadelphians love Jay Wright. And they're either Jay Wright lovers or Jay Wright haters. And the Jay Wright haters are the people who go, "Oh, Villanova's not a Philly school." Shut up. Okay, it is. All right. To know that he went down Broad Street twice in a parade and now is on Broadway would hurt. That would hurt.
Almost as much as Barkley to the Eagles hurt Giant fans. That level.
Oh yeah. Nah, I don't think it'd be that bad.
That's pretty bad.
I don't think it's that bad. But if it did happen that quick, it'd be up there.
Oh,
damn, they got us back.
Like if he went to the Knicks next year, they made the Durant trade, they won the NBA title the first year, your head would explode.
And then he retires right then and there.
Your head would fucking explode. Oh my God. As he goes down the Canyon of Heroes in New York City with all the confetti coming down.
Oh God, yeah. Oh,
what a beautiful sight that would be.
Nothing would make me more physically ill.
Well,
maybe Embiid to the Knicks.
No, that would make me physically ill. Okay,
I'd like to change there.
That's
we were
actually
there,
something.
We were laughing. We were having a good time. I'm like, nah, I got to ruin it for you.
I'm gonna be honest with you. That's something that a year ago, before we got Karl Anthony Towns, I might have been open to that. Before he went on his latest injury run.
So, all right, now wait a minute. Let's say we start the year, right? Next year.
Oh, here we go.
We start the year next year, and Embiid goes down again in that window.
Here we go.
And the Sixers let him go.
They're not gonna let him go. They're gonna trade him.
No, he has that. What do you call it? That clause that if
he
gets
the injury thing.
Yeah, well, they don't have to pay him.
If they don't have to pay him, and they can refute his contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
so now let's say he's pissed.
Then we don't have the room for him. Cap room. We couldn't do it anyway. The only way the Knicks could get. Listen, hypothetically speaking, if I want to throw up in my mouth.
Again, the Xbox is on.
The only way the Knicks could get Embiid is in a trade. They don't have the cap space just to outright sign him.
Okay. So let's say you get rid of not as much as you were going to obviously pay for Kevin Durant. But a first-round pick and I don't know.
All right, here's the deal. Ready? First-round pick, Mitch Robinson, Deuce McBride, and maybe Tyler Kolek too for Joel Embiid.
See, See, you're
Now,
even,
wait. The reason I put it
you're
that
saying
way,
there's a price.
the reason I'm putting it that way, right, is because Mitch Robinson is often injured too.
Right.
And Embiid's a better player. So they're
Right.
both often injured. So if I'm going to have one injured prick of the two, I'd rather have the injured prick who has a better chance at putting some points in.
So
opposed,
I'm saying that big three that you were talking about, does that win an NBA title?
It could. It could. If he's healthy, though. And I don't know if I trust, I trust Durant's health more than Embiid's health.
But see, now, obviously, and not the same player. He's not a wing, small forward /
Unfortunately, if you got rid of Mitch, Embiid actually fits better. Because now you have Embiid at the 5, you have Towns at the 4, Anunoby at the 3. And Anunoby is a huge 3 if he's at the 3. And he's fast enough to play it.
So you're now.
Am I saying that there's a planet
he gets some minutes cut? He gets some minutes cut there because you got two other guys that had shown that they can be more durable through the season. You're telling me you wouldn't take Embiid, and
again,
that wouldn't be a championship.
If it's a choice of Embiid or Durant, I'll take Durant.
Obviously, you're going to take Durant,
right?
Yeah.
But I'm not going to lie. As a finishing piece, is he tempting? He is, because he'd be going on to a much better team than he was on. And like you said, he doesn't need to play, 35 minutes a game on a team that has Karl Anthony Towns. If Embiid gives you a good 25 a game and can put up a solid 20-10 average through the season, are the Knicks a championship contender? I think so.
Yeah.
You literally have two of the most prolific big men on the same team.
The only problem is that just won't happen because
no, they'll never trade with each other.
They'll never trade with each other.
They'll never trade with each other. No, especially not
a swap
like that. Oh, you think the Sixers would want Embiid coming back into their building when their team stinks and lighting them up? And the Knicks are going to let them. They're going to say, "Yeah, go ahead, big boy. This is the night you play 35.
Yeah,
go get 35 and 20."
So now that I'm sitting here and I'm like, yeah, that would make me pretty sick too. But then I'm like, oh my God, the owner might actually do it. The guy who owns the Commanders.
I don't know. I mean, again, that's off-season stuff. We'll get there. First, I want to get by this year before I worry about next year. I want to try to win one this year.
Yeah.
I can't say my confidence is high. I have to say, if I look honestly, the Knicks are the 4th or 5th best team in the NBA. Oklahoma City's better. By record, the Cavs are better. I think that Boston's better. I think that Denver, properly motivated, healthy Joker.
That was something I wanted to get into. Here's another hypothetical to get into our NBA talk here. The Knicks have now beaten the Cleveland Cavaliers in 5 games and won the Eastern Conference.
Oh my God, I'm having a party. I'm getting high.
Right? Let's go through the West. We'll start with the Thunder.
I don't think the Knicks can beat them. I think
Rockets.
the Thunder are just too athletic. I think it's that simple. The Thunder are a bad matchup for them. They're just too fucking athletic. They run all over the court. They like the fast break all over the place.
The Rockets.
Knicks will beat the Rockets. The Knicks, the way that the Thunder are built poorly for the Knicks, the Nuggets are built poorly for the Knicks. So the Knicks can beat Denver.
So that's it. How about the Lakers?
Lakers, I don't know. It's 50-50. It depends. I mean, the Knicks way outsize them. The Knicks have a lot more height than they have. But they would have the 2 best players on the court during the series if everybody's healthy.
So the Nuggets, you said already.
The Knicks have Denver's number. I think they've beaten them 4 of the last 5 times they played.
And then we'll stop at this one, the Warriors.
That's tough because I'm not sure what they are yet. They look better since they got Jimmy.
Jimmy just got suspended too.
Right. And Curry, he gets hot. He's throwing him up from the logo, and that's hard to stop. I'll say 50-50 with the Warriors.
Everybody else, I think. I mean, a shock. This would be
Minnesota. We would wipe the floor with. Wipe the floor with them. We have all year.
And then the Clippers, Grizzlies, Mavericks.
Too old. Not worried about them. The Grizzlies stink.
They're all playing in the playing game anyway, and I don't see any of those teams making it past the first round.
The next two toughest potential matchups are the Celtics and the Thunder, in my opinion. After that, if they get by the Celtics, they would win the Eastern Conference. And then we'll see where the chips fall from there and who we get in the finals. If we get the Thunder, I'm going to have my ass cheeks clinched together.
And you're saying, too, if I'm speaking for you, and I don't mean to, but it's for content.
You are not the great Turk.
The Knicks make the Eastern Conference. That's a successful season.
Yes, they haven't been there since 2000, so yes.
Okay. And even though they play Cleveland, who you're saying you're going to wipe the floor with Cleveland.
I didn't say wipe the floor. I said I think the Knicks will beat them.
Okay, so they lose in 6 games.
It hurts, but it was still a good season.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, Cleveland would have just proved they were the best team in the conference, which they were all year.
Right. Okay.
They would validate themselves. So I can't be mad at that. The record shows that they're supposed to be the better team.
I think it would be cool if Cleveland won just to prove that they didn't need LeBron.
Fuck Cleveland. That's what I say about Cleveland. Fuck Cleveland. Fuck them.
We don't have that button.
Yeah.
We don't have a fuck Cleveland.
Cleveland sucks. Cleveland sucks. Yeah, that's my new song. All right, Western Conference, you just went over briefly. Yeah. Western Conference is interesting. OKC has been far and away the best team. I think they have like a 12-game lead on the 2 seed. I mean, it's not even close.
Yeah.
But you have some interesting things that happen with trades. So the Lakers, when they first got Luka, all of a sudden they rocketed to the 2 seed. Now they drop back down to like the 4 to 5. But that's because they've had injuries. LeBron's been out. Luka's missed a couple of games. And then you have, Denver, who you always have to consider just because they have who I think is the best player on the planet right now, which is Nikola Jokic. And then, obviously there's other teams that could factor in like Golden State, because while they're not going to finish, winning the conference with the best record, this and that, they have Curry, they have Draymond, and they have Jimmy Butler. I mean, they could run a good team out there. If they get hot, they could be a problem. So the Western Conference is a little more convoluted than the Eastern Conference, Mike. I think the Eastern Conference is kind of clear cut, right? It's Boston, Cleveland, and then your next level is probably Knicks and Indiana. And then everybody else is under those 4, if you ask me, right? In the Western Conference, okay, there's Oklahoma City on their own pedestal. But then there's about 3 or 4 teams meandering under them that have the capability of beating them if they get hot. For sure.
Yeah.
If Denver gets hot, if Jokic goes 30, 20 nuts in a 7-game series, can they beat OKC? Absolutely. If Curry starts dropping 40 a night from the fucking logo, can they beat them? Absolutely. So
this is also, like we said on the past episode, this is one of those things where, yes, it's a young team, but can they handle it? Can they handle the pressure?
They got talent. We don't know if they can win in the playoffs yet, win the big spot in the playoffs.
Right.
So similar to Cleveland.
Because you have in that, like you said, in that tier, you have the Lakers with 2 guys that have won
2 of the best 10 players on the planet.
Right.
I'll put it that way.
So that's what the Lakers, the Nuggets, another
the
team
best player on the planet.
The Warriors, possibly the best.
The all-time best shooting guard ever, along with a guy who's known for playoff clutch with Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
That's why they call him Playoff Jimmy.
Yeah. I mean, this is the closest playoff that I think, as far as anybody could win from 1 to 5.
In the West, yes.
In the West. Where usually it's like 1, 2, 3, like the East right now. 1, 2, 3
like the top 2, and then maybe the third team you say, okay, they got a puncher's chance. Right. Like the Knicks got a puncher's chance,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. West is going to be
I'm looking forward to the play. Mike, you got a potential first-round matchup of Golden State and the Lakers right now. LeBron and Curry in the first round. That's a tough fucking first round.
Yeah.
Yow.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, the NBA is coming to an end. There's only 6 or 7 games left for all teams.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the playoffs will start in 2 weeks. And as a Knicks fan, I'm excited. And as a Philly fan, you should root for us. You should.
No.
You should.
No.
Come on, we're neighbors. Don't you want your neighbor to be successful?
Yeah, you're the fucking noisy neighbors that never have any sugar.
Wow. Wow.
Come over, try to borrow some fucking sugar, and you never answer the door.
Wow, really? Okay.
Yeah, that's your.
And we go over to your house and we get shot in Kensington. So
shouldn't have been standing there.
Well, you see, see, we all have our problems with our neighbors, right?
Yeah, we
do. Yeah,
we fucking do.
We'll leave the private shit out, but yeah, we all have our problems with neighbors.
I just watched the SEPTA bus truck an SUV straight down.
I saw that on
straight up
news.
the boulevard.
I saw that, him just pushing them along, like, yeah, whatever.
Next stop, Rising Sun.
Now, what was the report on that? Did the guy, did the driver have a problem, or did he just have it with Philadelphia? Was he just done?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know. I didn't
that's
even look
that's
into
your
it.
fucking city. That place is a mess, bro. It really is. I mean, they should consider nuking it and starting from scratch. I really think
we
that.
are starting from scratch. It's always next year.
All right, so that'll wrap up our NBA talk. We'll just dip our toes in the NHL for a second, literally. That's all it deserves from my standpoint. I am going to talk about Ovechkin real quick.
Yeah, congratulations to him. He's
Man,
gonna break it. He's gonna break it
never
tonight.
thought somebody would break Gretzky's record. And next generation, it happens. I never thought it would happen, and it happens actually, relatively quickly.
Yeah.
He's had a hell of a career. He's carried his team this year at his old age, which is unbelievable.
Yeah.
All the accolades to him in the world. The Rangers are an astronomical disappointment. They're not going to make the playoffs. They're not. They just lost to the Devils 4-0 last night. Fuck are you doing over there? What are you doing? I mean, they traded the whole fucking team and basically fielded a whole new team the last couple of weeks, and it was working for a while.
I was just saying, just last week you were talking about a possible.
I thought they could make it. Yeah. They were only 2 points out. I think they're still only 4 points out, but I think the Devils and Islanders each have a game in hand on them.
Mm.
So that makes it more difficult because now, not only do you need them to lose and you need to win, you need them to lose an extra game because they have a game in hand. So I don't think the Rangers are making it. It doesn't look like it right now.
There's still a couple games left. They're 10 points out.
Of the last spot, they're down to 10 points out now?
I think so.
If they're 10 points out, it's a wrap.
Yeah, hold on. Top 3, 92 in the Atlantic. The Devils are 10 points above the Rangers.
That loss last night, that was it. That was it.
That's 5 games.
That's a 4-point swing. That's it.
I mean, it would be an ultimate collapse.
Yeah, it's not happening.
For the Devils.
Yeah. So other than Ovechkin, go fuck the NHL right now. I'm really mad.
Hey,
I didn't get to play this all fucking year, Mike. Not once.
You played it a few times.
I played Mafia like this. No,
it was mostly in times like this.
What?
It was mostly in times like this. You're playing it sarcastically.
Yeah, angrily. Right. And that's my point, is that they've been such an utter disappointment that I haven't been able to celebrate anything with them because it's been a roller coaster ride where there's no up. The roller coaster just keeps going down for some reason. And you're like, where's the hill that goes up? And you never hit the fucking hill.
Hey, you're not the Flyers.
Yeah, but your team wasn't supposed to be anything.
But okay. So
you were supposed to suck.
So hold on. The Flyers, if we didn't report it the last time, fired their coach, Tortorella. Tortorella basically lost the game and was publicly saying, fuck this, I'm done. Like, I can't.
Well, he's sick of that shit city. Can you blame him?
Anyway. Mister, we haven't been to a fucking championship game in 20 years.
Whatever.
So they fired a coach, and they basically got rid of anybody who was anybody on the team. When last year you were in the playoff run, you collapsed. You just fell apart. Then you go on another run this year to possibly make the playoffs, and you just start trading everybody. And then fire your head coach, and now you're in last place in the division.
Tortorella probably didn't like what happened at the trade deadline.
He was known so he's the old school coach, the tough, no bullshit.
I know he was over here for a while.
Yeah, it was no bullshit.
Torch well.
Yeah, and that's just not how you could coach anymore, apparently.
Oh my God! Stop with the bitchified society, please.
I'm not. Listen, I'm preaching to the choir.
That's going to be part of our semi-pro conversation too.
Yeah,
because I think that plays a role. The bitchification of society. You know,
the hard nosed motivation. You know, it's just apparently was breaking the kids.
Oh no!
No.
Go home to fucking mommy.
Right.
I'm going to tell you.
So
it drives me nuts, Mike. It really fucking does. It drives me nuts. Let's stop talking about this because neither one of us want to waste our time with our shitty fucking teams in this damn sport.
Yeah.
So good luck to all you teams in the playoffs. Go win, do whatever you want, jerk yourselves off. I don't give a fuck. You know, and we'll talk about hockey next year. Fuck this thing. Fuck this game.
We gotta wait a whole year to do
it. Yeah, fuck them.
We'll talk to you at the All-Star
out of here. What are we talking about here? Get out of here. All right, let's go to the main menu. The main menu. Things that matter. And we know what matters, don't we?
Right now?
Game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
All right, so we got the Yankees.
Swing and a pop-up. This game is going to be over. Carlos Ruiz squeezes it, and the Phillies are the National League champions.
All right. So
we got to get a better soundbite for the Phillies. I mean, you got the Yankees.
Well, that's because I actually have a good announcer who's fucking dramatic. That's why.
Whatever.
So, actually, Sterling is now retired.
We have John Kruk. Okay.
You don't have to hear Sterling anymore. He retired after last season. He's done.
Good.
So fuck you. Good. So let's talk baseball. All right. So from our local perspective, all three teams off to a decent start. Not bad, right? Except Ben Rice is hitting better than Juan Soto. I just want to put that out there, okay? But the Yankees, start the season with a sweep over Milwaukee, as they should. Nestor Cortez opens the season in Yankee Stadium for the first time as not a Yankee. And, oh, my God, they bent him over the fucking cow bar, ripped his pants down, and ass-fucked him dry, and didn't even give him a chance to say, oh, my God, I'm sorry. I cannot believe the way that they took care of him. They put up 5 home runs. The first 3 batters of the game, Mike, on opening day, all hit home runs. First 3 guys. Open the fucking game.
Cheaters and torpedo bats.
We'll talk about the torpedo bats. But by the way, for your unknowledgeable Philadelphia ass, they've been around for a long time, and they've never been illegal.
Shit, brother.
A lot of people use them. Wait,
cheating.
So it's only gotten brought out because now it's the Yankees, and all you fucking haters who hate the Yankees.
No. It got brought up because they hit fucking 15 home runs.
All right. So Francisco Lindor started the season 0-for-11 with a fucking torpedo bat. You still have to hit the fucking ball, Mike.
I understand. Okay. Don't yell at me.
Fucking give me his torpedo bat.
I didn't do this to you.
You know what I'm going to do with that torpedo bat? I'm going to take it. I'm going to roll it up real tight. Right?
Oh, God.
Cram it right up your candy ass. I mean, I want to hear about these torpedo bats. Seriously. I mean.
The sexual preferences of Turk do not reflect the sexual preferences of everybody else on the show.
Oh, my God. What the fuck? Jeez.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So, anyway, the Yankees start the season, 3-0, and then they lose 2, and then they start winning again. And they're off to a decent start. The Yankees, are now, I think, 5-2 after 7 games or whatever. It's early, just 162 still 155 games to go. So I'm not counting nothing right now.
Yeah.
Right. But I will say this. Last year, Aaron Judge didn't hit the ball until May. He was so bad at the beginning of the year, we were wondering what the fuck was wrong with him. What is wrong with Aaron Judge? How come he can't hit anymore? The guy ends up hitting 320 with 58 home runs and 140 RBIs. We're not hitting for a month and a half, almost 2 months. A little different this year. So there's 2 Major League Baseball players in the history of baseball that in the first 6 games started off with 5 home runs, 15 RBIs, and an OPS over 1,000. Can you name them?
No, I can't.
Babe Ruth and Aaron Judge. Only 2.
Wow.
The Yankees are the first team in the history of baseball through the first 7 games to hit 24 home runs. The Yankees have the top 3 leaders on the home run leaderboard in the American League. So to say it has started well is a little bit of an understatement. Now, considering everything going on with the Yankees, no Garrett Cole, out for the year. No Giancarlo Stanton. Who the fuck knows when he plays or how much he plays and when he gets hurt again, because that's just Stanton life, right?
Right.
So considering the guys that they've lost already, a good start was important. And I think what's more important, Mike, is the young guys that are now playing that weren't, right? So we talked about off-season signings. The Yankees went and got Bellinger and Goldschmidt. I like both. Both are playing well. Good pickups, okay? No, they're not Juan Soto, but good pickups. The Yankee lineup is longer than it was. The kid, Jason Dominguez, he has superstar written on him if he can field. I mean, the kid can swing the bat. Ben Rice came into camp 25 pounds heavier this year. He's hitting the ball all over the fucking yard. Anthony Volpe just looks more settled in his 3rd year. I think he's going to have a really good year too. And Austin Wells, the catcher, the 2nd-year catcher, has started off the year hitting home runs all over the yard. So I think that the key to the Yankees this year, Mike, it's not the pitching staff. Obviously, Judge has to stay healthy. I don't have to say that. It's the kids. It's the kids, man.
Even the segue, 90 miles south, it's the same thing's going on here, except for not as many home runs.
How many kids you got? How many young guys are starting?
We got Stott, who's still in their 20s. Bones still in his 20s.
No, I'm talking about like 1st or 2nd year players.
Oh no, we still have our core. We still have our core players. We don't.
Okay, so don't say it's the same. These guys are rookies.
But what I'm saying
the
is
Yankees are literally starting 4 rookies.
Your bottom of your lineup. The Phillies right now are almost hitting 400 at the bottom of their lineup.
That makes for a good thing.
Huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. If your 8 and 9 guy are fucking breaking the ball, bringing the lineup around, you're going to win games. There's just
that's kind of going on with the Yankees too. Like last year in the Soto.
No, don't compare it. No. Go ahead.
Last year in the Soto trade, they got Trent Grisham, who's kind of an afterthought. He's a defensive center fielder who's really good defensive, but he really doesn't hit well. I think he's like a career 190 hitter or something. But he got some pop. And with all these injuries, Grisham's been playing. And he has a couple of home runs already, and he's hitting like 350. This guy never hits. All of a sudden, he's hitting. Those are the things like you just said about the bottom of your lineup. He's in the bottom of the Yankee lineup. Those are the things that make your team go. If the bottom of your lineup can contribute and put guys on base for your 1, 2, 3 hitters coming up in an inning, now you got something going.
Yes.
Now they're not just table setters. Now they're driving runs in. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. You get those guys on, and you get your big name guys hitting the way all these guys are hitting. You're gonna continue to win games. We knocked off the undefeated Dodgers last night. Totally different story. The crybaby pitcher got his win.
Well, nobody's going to win or lose every game. The Dodgers weren't going to go 162-0.
No.
Though I think they're going to win 110 fucking games.
But to know that you can beat them.
Yeah, it's important for mental aptitude to know the feeling that yes, we can beat these guys.
We can beat these guys. They're not a machine. They're men. They got to go out and do the same thing that we got to do. Let's just do it better. So with that, this Max Kepler's looking good as long as he stays healthy. It's going to be a big signing for us. And
Kepler's a good player. He's a good player.
Next, you have the Braves coming up.
And the Braves can't fucking win a game to save their lives.
Take advantage of that. It's a big start to the season, but like I told you last year,
Got 155 to go.
Yeah. Talk to me at the trade deadline.
Now let's talk about a team in your division quick. The Mets.
The Mets.
So, what do I see from the Mets? So, going into the season, what I saw from the Mets is what looks like it's going to be a very good lineup. Really more, if you ask me, dependent on Pete Alonso than on Juan Soto. Because if Pete Alonso can protect Soto, it's going to make the whole team so much better in the lineup longer. And so far, that's happening for Alonso. Alonso has started out on fire. And I don't know if it's his vengeance tour for having a bad year last year and almost, not coming back to the Mets. But right now, Alonso looks locked in, and for the Mets, that's good. Now, the surprise for the Mets is, and this is the second year in a row they've done that, they have this no-name bullshit starting pitching staff where their opening day starter was my closer who lost his job last year, Clay Holmes. The Mets are second in the NL in team ERA. And they're throwing guys out there that I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? So the Mets are off to a good start. Not great, but good enough to where, they got some guys coming back too. They got to get back their top dog pitcher, Minaya. They're missing him. They had somebody on maternity leave. I think the Yankees had the same thing with Williams, with the closer. It was Lindor. He missed a game because he had a baby. Not him, his wife. If he had a baby, that would be a bigger story.
We don't want to talk about that.
Right. But, they're off to a good enough start to where with the Braves being in the toilet, being a game or two over 500 is a lot better than being 0-7.
Right.
And your Phillies off to a good start. The Dodgers, I think, are just what everybody thought they would be. Right.
Yep.
And maybe the little surprise over there is San Diego's playing so well to start the year.
And the Marlins.
The Marlins
are
first
5-4.
Mike. The first place Marlins.
No, they're not in first place.
They were. After 2 games, they were.
But they, like I was saying at the beginning of our MLB season show, you got to watch them because every now and then they rear their fucking ugly head with a payroll that is nothing.
It's like the Florida teams can do this. Tampa does that too.
Yeah.
And Tampa does it better. Tampa gets to ALCSs and World Series and shit.
Right.
With spending no money. And speaking of Tampa, all right, let's talk about this with baseball. You got 2 teams playing in minor league parks, right?
Yeah.
Tampa, absolutely. You have to. The Storm destroyed your stadium, right? And I think the Yankees, we talked about this last show, have done an incredible job making sure that is a major league ready facility, even if it is a little light on seats. But as far as player locker rooms, tunnels downstairs, batting practice, it is as MLB as you can get.
Right.
It is basically a major league stadium with limited seating capacity.
And it might even be better than
most, than a lot, right? Now let's talk about the A's and that fucking shithole in Sacramento they're playing in, where a guy has to run from the dugout to center field during the game to go to the bathroom.
I did not know this.
Bro, it looks so Mickey Mouse. It looks terrible.
Really?
They should not be playing in this place. I'm not saying because of limited seating. I'm saying because it is not a major league park. I mean, it is a Class B facility. And they didn't even spend money to upgrade it with plenty of notice, like the Yankees did, on short notice, to make it MLB ready. And when I say MLB ready, that means for the teams.
Yeah.
How are you playing somewhere where there's no bathrooms at the dugout?
I don't even know how there's no bathrooms in the dugout to start.
I mean, they showed the guy run, his teammates making fun of him as he's running across the fucking field to go to the bathroom in center field. I mean,
sounds like the A's. His teammates are making fun of each other.
Oh my God, bro. Are we serious with this? I mean, all right, look. Again, Tampa's doing it out of necessity. Mother Nature chimed in.
Yeah.
And said, you know what? Fuck your roof. Okay? But the A's
just kept it off.
Right. But the
kept
A's
playing.
I mean, the A's couldn't cut a deal with Oakland. Their stadium's not going to be ready in Vegas for another couple of years. They're really going to play in this place for a couple of years? Really?
And that whole organization is just a joke. And it's always been a joke.
Can't say that. They got World Series titles. They've had some very good teams.
Yeah, when
it's always been a joke.
Yeah.
It's a joke the last
Ricky Henderson and then when they
years.
were in Philly.
15 years it's been a joke now. It's been bad for 15 years. But remember, this is the team that had McGuire and Canseco. They had the Bash brothers.
That was the early 90s.
They had a couple of years in the mid-2000s where they were going to the playoffs.
The Moneyball years where they had a payroll of nothing.
The point is that they've been, for the most part, a competitive team playing in a shitty stadium, right? Now they're a shitty team playing in a shittier stadium. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
But yeah, they should. I mean, you should have facilities ready for the teams in the dugout. The point of the dugout is so that they can stay in that area.
They had 6 months to do this.
Yeah.
6 months they had to get the stadium ready for MLB play. And it's not. It's just not. I mean, even you look at it when they were announcing the fucking A's players coming out of the outfield or whatever it was, it looked like a semi-pro game. I was like, what the fuck is this? Really? Bro,
I have to see this.
You go look it up. It's all over.
Well, after this, I have to.
Yeah, go look up A's home games in Anaheim Stadium, and they'll show you all the little excerpts from the little idiosyncrasies from it. And it's very minor league, Mike. I mean, I know it's a minor league stadium, but you're not paying rent in that big fucking Oakland mausoleum anymore. You could have thrown some money to Sacramento to make your ship better while you wait to go to Vegas. That's all I'm saying. Spend some fucking money, man. You own a major league team.
Right.
Spend some money.
That's what they're notorious for, not spending money.
There's a difference between not spending money on players and not having proper facilities. Something we're going to talk about with the semi-pro shit.
Right.
Right.
But their team, again, has been dog shit because, one, they don't spend the money. And why were they moving out of Oakland? They couldn't get a fucking stadium.
They didn't get a stadium. No, this is what went down. What went down is they made the deal with Vegas because Oakland City, the city,
right,
turned down building them a stadium.
Turned down, it reflects so much on
right. They said we're not building you a stadium, right? So
right.
Listen, I can't get mad at the owner. He said, okay, we're going to go to Vegas.
Right
now, Oakland becomes scumbags and won't renew their lease for the 2 years while they're waiting for the new stadium to be built in Vegas when you won't build one. The city of Oakland, you don't listen to me. Oakland. Listen to me.
Are you listening?
Are you listening, Oakland? You've lost 3 professional teams over the last decade. Is it telling you something yet? Your city's a shithole. Fix your shit, and maybe you'll get teams again someday. Right now, you don't deserve teams. You don't deserve them. You deserve to lose the Raiders. You deserve to lose the Warriors. And now you deserve to lose the A's. I mean, that city is a fucking mess on a governmental level.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. That's the point I'm trying to make. Just like, it just seems like it's just following the team. That whole fucking
I'm looking forward to them getting in Vegas because did you see the renderings of the Vegas stadium?
Oh, it looks gorgeous.
Oh my God, dude. It's going to be the most beautiful stadium in the league.
Yeah.
I mean, the stadium, I got to give this to Vegas. They did it with the Raiders. Now they're doing it with the A's. Boy, they don't fuck around when they build a facility.
Oh,
They go balls to the wall. There is no expense spared.
It's Vegas, baby.
Yeah. 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 And listen, it's good strategy. You get all the other teams gambling, banging hookers the night before the game. You get some wins.
Yeah, if it works, it works.
Whatever you got to do to get a win.
Michael Strahan, or not Michael Strahan.
Whoa.
Lawrence Taylor.
Oh.
Used to buy hookers for the opposing team.
Well, listen,
Send them
Michael Jordan used to go gambling and drinking with guys the night before the game and then abuse them the next day.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Those old Jordan stories. I love those old Jordan stories. Those things are fucking great.
Evander Holyfield used to ask for his winnings and chips.
That's great.
He'd fucking win $2 million. I'll take in chips.
So baseball right now is underway. We're in the baby stages of the season. There's a long way to go. We can't prognosticate anything right now. You don't know what injuries are going to happen. You don't know what's going to go down, what surprises are going to happen. And then you don't know what happens to the trade deadline either. I mean, this might not be your team in 3 months. It might be a little different. There may be some tweaks, but I think both of us could say with a smile, we're happy with the starts our teams are off to,
Yes. The Phillies are notorious for starting slow.
And let's hope for that collision course we hoped for last year. It got derailed with the Yankees and the Phillies. I would love to kick your ass in the World Series again. It'd be a beautiful fucking thing, right?
Be careful what you wish for.
I'm not being careful. Philadelphia.
Kansas City learned the hard way.
Bring it. But again, I can't say this enough times. Mike, I know you don't watch him every day because you're a Phillies fan. Make it a point to watch him, Aaron Judge, man. The dude is just, he is just, there's no other way to put it.
What's with your city and gap teeth? They love guys with gap teeth.
You ready for this? Live. He is the best baseball player I have ever seen.
Wow.
Live. And I've seen a lot of great baseball players. George Brett, Don Mattingly in his prime, Darryl Strawberry in his prime. Barry Bonds, Griffey. Griffey is probably, I can't say Bonds because of the steroids, because I don't know if he would have been as great as he was, right? But Aaron Judge clean is as good as Barry Bonds on steroids, and that's saying something, Griffey Jr. was obviously a little bit better of a defender.
Yeah.
Didn't have nearly this power, though. I mean, Judge's power is just, and he's a 300-plus hitter. So, he is the greatest baseball. Now, he still has a lot to prove in October, Mike. He's a 202 October hitter right now. And and you know what hurts is that Game 5 with the errors and everything against the Dodgers, he was finally starting to hit. He had a home run in the first inning. He doubled off the wall. You're like, yeah, Judge is back. We got a shot this series now. And then they make the 5 errors and they blow Game 5 and everything blows up in their face and they lose the series, right? But other than October, and he has to do it in October, Mike, he will never be looked at like Mickey Mantle, like Derek Jeter, like any of these guys until he does some winning in October. And even if they lose, it can't be because Aaron Judge hit 200. Can't be.
Yeah. It's tough because you get so few games to prove it. First round being the best of 5. Well, if you're not in, we don't obviously see you guys as being in the division, or not the division, the playing games at wild card round.
Right. The Yankees should, even with all their injuries, are expected to still win the division.
Right. So with that, the divisional round being 5 games, best of 5, you have 2 bad games, your average is going to look like shit.
And we also already know that next series, if you're the team that sat out, could work against you as it has more often than not. The team with the bye in baseball seems to hurt. You know what I mean? So you don't know. You might get 3 games to play in. You might get 12. You don't know. It's a limited sample size, but
right.
So far for Judge, 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and now 24. Okay? 202 batting average in the postseason. Can't do it.
No,
he has to change it. Regular season, greatest player I've ever seen. I want for him to have good postseason to get that monkey off his back because he deserves it. He's that good. He shouldn't be looked at. Now, you know, Willie Mays was a 200 hitter in the playoffs too. He's still looked at as one of the greatest players ever. Ted Williams was in the playoffs once and hit 150. He's still looked at as one of the greatest players ever. So I guess it's not a prerequisite.
Yeah, because, I mean, when Ted Williams played, it was just whoever won the pennant.
If you won the league, you win the World Series. That's it.
Yeah, if you were at the top of the ranks, you went to the World Series. There was
in the early years, it was a longer series. It was best of 9.
Best of 9, right?
Right, but nonetheless, it was still only one series.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, come on. What do you got? I guess at the same time, with the bright lights of October, you got to show up.
You got to show up.
You got to show up.
Yep. So. You know, just like Pete Alonso did against the Phillies.
Cool. Anyway, so you made your first World Series since 2009. Years. That's great.
Yeah, who'd we beat in 2009 again? I forgot about that one.
That was the Philadelphia Phillies, who just came off winning their
ball
second
game over.
World Series.
Yankees win. The Yankees win.
Okay.
That's what happened against Philly. Yeah.
Wow.
You just so you know. I want you to know that cut. That's from Game 6 against Philly. That specific cut. Just so you know. I want it to hurt a little bit more.
That's fine. Can I ask you something?
No.
Who's still the Super Bowl champs?
It's not football season anymore. Nobody cares anymore.
I don't care.
It's over. That's over.
Two-time Super
Behind
Bowl
us,
champion.
Mike.
5-time world champion.
Behind us. Yeah. 5-time. You can't count that pre-Super Bowl
Get
shit.
the fucking no. Stop.
That fake NFL before there was an AFL. Come on.
There was the AFL. They were not as good. We beat Lombardi. Shut up.
Wow. So, all right. So baseball, we'll have more to talk about, obviously, as we go by.
Yeah.
Let's start to close our show with a little bit of NFL. You know, we got the draft coming up in a week.
Yep. It's Howie season.
You know, this is where your team shines and mine usually shits the bed, right? The Jets have the 7 overall pick. The Giants have the 3 overall pick. Obviously, your team is picking dead ass last at 32 because you won the fucking Super Bowl. So, the Jets, with Justin Fields, I don't see them picking up a quarterback. I think they're going to see what Justin Fields can become over the 2 years of this contract because he's young and it's smart and he can run and their line always sucks. So all these factors put together, if you put it together right offense, I think the Jets going to take probably the best available offensive lineman. That's my guess.
4 wins this season.
Yeah. I think that, you know, listen, you notice as an Eagle fan, you have to build from the inside out.
Yeah.
Your offensive line is the reason your team is what it is. Plain and simple.
Right.
It's the reason Saquon Barkley was what he was.
Right.
It's the reason the tush push works. All of it.
All right.
Right? All of it. Right. So if the Jets are going to be intelligent this draft, they have to build what, in my opinion, as a former lineman, is the most important positions in the NFL, and it's not the quarterback.
No.
It's the line.
It's the line. And starts with your center.
Right.
Your center has to be the smartest, if not the second smartest guy in the huddle. Your guards, you know, and your tackles, you know, they say that they tried to say that the tackle, the blindside tackle is the most important. No, it's not. No, it's not. He's got to worry about one guy. He worries about the edge. He just has to be probably the most athletic guy on the line.
He has to have the size and speed to be able to keep up with
these edge
rushing ends. Yeah.
Right. So
your center has to be your smart guy.
Your center, yes. He has to be able to.
He's changing protections. He's adjusting schemes.
Right.
Yeah. He has to be the brains of your operation. He's the quarterback of your line.
Yes. And for, you know, years, yes, we've been spoiled with Kelsey.
You see the transition okay to the new guy?
Yeah. Not Dixon. Cam Jurgens is looking, he is not so far J.C. Kelsey. He doesn't move. He's a little slower, but
he's a big boy though.
He picks up the blocks.
He's a big boy.
He picks up the blocks.
Yeah.
So but we have to. That all is credit to offensive line coach Jeff Stoutland.
Yeah, no doubt.
I told you before we need
and
we
as
need
much
to
as he
clone
banged
him.
on Sirianni, that's his hire. So that works because he hired him.
Not Sirianni. No, he hasn't. He's been here since Reed.
Was he here with Reed?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought he came in with Chip and then they retained him.
You know what? It might have been Chip Kelly.
They came with Chip and then Sirianni retained him. Stop making fucking things up.
Well, he didn't pick. Yeah, he retained him.
No, he still had the choice. He had the choice to let him go. He could have brought in his own guy. He's that coach.
Stupid.
Again, credit to him for not being stupid. So anyway,
I think you're giving the credit to the wrong guy. But anyway,
he wasn't there with me. He hasn't been there for 30 years, Mike. Kiss my ass. Okay?
Yeah, he's a Staten Island guy.
Yeah, well, of course, the New Yorker needs to save your ass. Of course.
From 2013. Okay.
So
that was Chip. Chip. So he made it through Chip.
Oh, so who said Chip? The non-Eagle fan said it?
Doug.
Who said Chip?
Who said Chip?
I want you to say, who said he came with Chip?
I did.
No, you said Reed.
Oh, yeah. But you didn't say Chip. You said, I could have sworn you said Sirianni.
No, I said you got to give Sirianni the credit for hiring him. Because he could have let him go and hired his own offensive line coach.
No. This guy had...
You're such a spoiled fucking brat now. You know that?
I used to like turn into Pro Bowl linemen.
Brat now.
All the people that he turned to Pro Bowl linemen, it would have been the dumbest thing. And we do it a lot. We've done it a lot.
Coaches bring their own people in. They do it all the time.
True, but you're not getting rid of a guy like that. Again, he needs to be cloned.
All right. Well, anyway, let's quickly talk about your division, right? Something I want to talk about in your division.
Sure.
So the Commanders make a big trade.
Yeah.
Right? They get themselves Deebo Samuel.
Yeah.
For the playmaker, obviously, they're trying to be able to keep up with Philadelphia in the points department. I think that's a great move for them.
Sure.
And then let's talk about the Giants. So I don't know what to say about this fucking quarterback room they got going on right now. Right? You get Jameis Winston, and then you get Russell Wilson, the introvert and the freak. I don't even know what's going to happen in that fucking room, right? One guy is going to be praising God and saying, go blue, and the other guy is going to be talking about the hooker he banged last week because he's out of his fucking mind, Jameis, right? Boy, man, that franchise
love it.
Can't get out of their own fucking way.
No.
All right. Aaron Rodgers, still a free agent. Pittsburgh, right now, their starting quarterback is Mason Rudolph. I'm sorry, Frank. You better pray you get Rodgers because Rudolph's got the answer, right?
That quarterback room is
deficient. We'll call it deficient. It's deficient. Yes, it's deficient. But, you know, the Giants, man, wouldn't they have been better off? They have a number 3 pick. You know, now people are saying they could still select Shador Sanders. You're going to do that and make him the 3rd string quarterback as the number 3 overall pick behind Wilson and Winston.
Is Dad going to let him go there?
Dad wants New York.
Dad wants New York. Okay.
Now, he didn't say which New York team.
Right.
But he wants New York. Right. So it's in my thought that if Sanders is there, the Giants are not going to take him.
Okay.
I think the Giants will take the best one of 2 things. They're either going to take Travis Hunter if he's there, or they're going to take the defensive end. What's his name? He's a monster pass rusher.
The kid from Penn State?
Yes.
Carter. Abdul Carter?
Carter. It's Carter. Yeah, it's Carter. Okay. So they're either going to take, I think they're going to take one of those 2 if one of those 2 is available, which one of those 2 should be available because the word is Tennessee's going to take Cam Ward. So if Tennessee takes Ward 1 overall, then one of those 2 will probably be pick number 2. And that will leave Sanders and one of those other guys around. Now it's a matter of, do the Giants take the future quarterback, even though they got grandpa and great-grandpa on the team? or do they go for a receiver to put next to Malik Neighbors to make these two quarterbacks maybe better? Because they already have Neighbors who's really good. And now if it ends up being that the kid from Colorado, if Travis is really that good, you got to take Hunter, don't you? You have to.
I think with the Giants, like you said, with the Jets, picking 3, you got to go offensive line. And the one kid from
they're not
North
going
Dakota,
to because they have a left tackle, so they're not going to.
Yeah, but the one kid from North Dakota State is an interior lineman. He can play center. He can play guard. He showed out at the combine.
But he's not a top 10 pick. He's going to go somewhere in the middle of the draft. Middle of the first round. Mid-first round. He'll go somewhere between.
I think he's the best lineman on the board.
No, the tackle is.
Really?
Yeah, supposedly the tackle. I can't. Again, I'm terrible with the college names.
Yeah.
The tackle is supposedly the best lineman on the board. And I don't think the Giants are going to take him because they have Andrew Thomas, who's still relatively young. He's only third year going into, and he's really good. So I don't know, man. I'll tell you this about the Giants. They are in a tough fucking spot that I wouldn't want to be in.
Yeah. I got my quarterback.
They don't have a quarterback.
Yeah, I got my lineman.
They gave you their running back. Their defense is meh.
Which that's the Eagles
offensive line is meh.
Eagles need to address the aging line. Now, you got Dickerson, who is going to end up being the captain of that line as soon as Johnson goes.
Lane Johnson
goes, the right tackle.
Lane said he's playing again this year, right?
He is going to play again this year. Obviously, days are numbered. You know, the guy, I think he's 33-ish. He's getting there.
He's getting there. You got to start to get ready to get your contingent plan in place.
Yes. We do have the other the other kid from Australia who apparently was doing really well. I forget what his name is. He's got one of those Polynesian names. But
I know his name. Who the fuck cares?
Wow. I guess we're running up and down the field on you guys again.
Wow. What happened last time the Eagles played the Jets?
We have a Saquon Barkley now.
What happened last time?
We have a Saquon Barkley.
What happened last time?
We have 2 Super Bowls.
And not only what happened last time, who was the quarterback when it happened?
Nick Foles.
You lost to Zach Wilson.
That's
you
cool,
have
man.
no cards on me for a while.
What do you mean?
You got no cards.
What do you mean?
You lost to Zach Wilson.
You haven't been to a Super Bowl.
I don't care. You lost to Zach Wilson.
Joe Namath.
That's like going 0-16. You lost to Zach Wilson.
No, it's not.
You lost 16 games in one.
Which, by the way, didn't you guys do that?
No, we've never gone 0-16.
1-15, whatever.
No, I think 0-16 was the Detroit Lions did that, didn't they?
And I know the Browns did it too.
Yeah, the Browns did it too. Yeah,
Browns did, I think, twice. But point is, we have to address the aging line. Everywhere else, the Eagles are still.
Did your middle linebacker retire?
No.
Someone
Brandon Graham retired.
I thought somebody retired that was big.
Brandon Graham retired.
Okay.
So edge rusher.
Right.
The thing with Brandon Graham is Brandon Graham did it all.
Right. He was good against the run. He wasn't just pass rusher.
Yeah.
And they would even when they zone blitz, they would drop him into coverage. He was pretty good.
He played, and if you look too, his strip sack against Brady, he was playing D tackle.
Yeah. Yeah, he was very versatile. He was. You guys are going to miss everywhere. Him. Those guys are hard to replace. You're going to miss him.
Yes, we are. Absolutely. But with, Jalen Carter is just an absolute fucking freak of nature. He kind of scares me. Just in a way. Like, his personality scares me. he's like one of those, like, those big guys you're like, I just hope he doesn't do anything stupid.
Oh, boy.
I mean,
can you say Aaron Hernandez?
Yeah. He's punching guys in the face in games like he's an animal, which I'd rather have on my team.
You need some of that on your team. Yeah, you need
Yeah.
some insanity in football.
Exactly.
Little insanity goes a long way.
We signed Zach Bowen. He's going to be here. He obviously big reason why the defense was so successful last year. We still have Nakobe Dean, who was having a great season at interior linebacker before he got hurt. We got the exciting whites still. Cooper DeJean, Reed Blankenship playing safety. Now it's C.J. Gardner-Johnson. That loss there, that trade, I understand why they did it. But losing him, and basically every Eagles fan that hasn't really watched the game thinks that Sidney Brown is going to be the next Brian Dawkins.
That's a big statement.
That's a big statement. And, the kid can hit. But we needed C.J. Gardner-Johnson twice to make a Super Bowl. So, if Sidney Brown doesn't step up this year, it's going to be a huge hole in the secondary.
And there's always the factor in the NFL of you don't know who the uprising team that wasn't there last year is suddenly good.
Mm-hmm.
The NFL is probably the easiest league to get good fast.
Okay.
You make a couple of good draft picks, a couple of good free agent signings, a trade or two. All of a sudden, you go from a team that was 3-14 to a 10-win team or whatever, and you're a playoff contender. And now you're winning games you weren't supposed to win. People had you circled as a loss on your schedule. Well, now they get the loss. So, and that all if the Eagles are going to stay consistent, right? And
they're going to have a tough schedule this year too.
And they're going to have a tough schedule this year. And if they're going to stay consistent, they're now going to have to be able to reload. This may be Howie's toughest task now, because he's got some of the best parts that he needs. Now, as ancillary parts get older, how do you replace them with lower draft picks?
Yeah.
You're not getting any top 10, top 15 picks.
Right.
So
right.
Howie's got his work cut out for him, but I think that I was reading the Eagles have 80% of their players are still in the contract coming back, or 85% of their players. So
and with the losses of a few guys from free agency, we have contingency picks. I think we have it's 20-some picks.
Right. You get all
years.
those little contingency third-round pick for this guy becoming a free agent, but blah, blah. Yeah.
Obviously, with the team that you have and roster restrictions, this isn't NCAA where you can carry 90 people on your roster. Those picks are trade bait.
Yeah, you're probably going to need him at some point. I mean, and Howie's shown he's a master at that. So, again, if you're an Eagles fan, you're in a good place, and you trust in the guy who has, basically made you a perennial Super Bowl contender for 4 years running now, maybe with the exception of 1 year to fall apart last year.
Yeah.
But other than that, the Eagles have been a consistent visitor to the NFC Championship now, like they were back in the McNabb days, except they've won.
We got it done.
You got it done a couple of times, right?
We got it done.
Consistency is all you can ask for when you're a fan, right?
Yes.
The playoffs, I think now in all sports, probably a little more in baseball and hockey, are such a crapshoot that all you can really do is build to have the best team that you can have in the regular season, and hope that the right guys are hot and that you have the right players to carry you through the postseason. So now it's, can you stay on top?
Yeah.
You got there, you climbed there, you beat the big bad bully, you beat the Chiefs. Now can you stay there and not get knocked off your pedestal? Because when you start playing King of the Hill, everybody's coming for you.
That's right. And yeah, we have the mark on us. We know it.
And we'll start with Washington winning the division this year.
It's not going to happen. So how do you feel with the new rule changes so far?
I like the overtime change.
Overtime change is basically going to be 10-minute quarter.
And both teams get to possess the ball. I'm cool with that.
Both teams get to possess the ball. In the
Still
playoff.
hate the dynamic kickoff. They can blow that out their ass. I hate that fucking thing.
What? Where they're lined up?
Yeah, because you can't surprise anybody with onside kicks or anything anymore. I hate it. I hate it when they put it in. And I was hoping they would take it out, and they haven't. And I hate it. I absolutely
It's because
hate
there's
it.
been way fewer injuries on the kickoff.
I don't want to fucking hear it. I don't want to hear it.
Listen, I
It's
agree
not
with
football.
you.
I don't want to hear it. You're
I agree
making
with
$1
you.
trillion fucking dollars.
I agree with
Serious?
you because of the fact that now, like you said, the kickoff is one-dimensional. It's a kickoff.
Yeah, I just don't like that you don't have the ability as the kicking team to surprise anybody.
Right. There is no strategy in it.
Right.
There's strategy. There's not as much strategy in it.
No, there's no strategy with it.
possibility.
Yeah, there's
no
no strategy.
possibility of
No,
something
there's no
happening.
strategy with the onside kickoff. You have to announce you're doing it. It's like
Yeah.
flag football now.
Right.
We're kicking onside.
Yeah.
At this
So-
point, I'd really rather them have you run one play, and if you get more than 20 yards, you get the ball
Well,
instead of an onside kick.
oh, that. Okay.
Instead of an onside
Okay.
kick, you get the ball at midfield. If you get to the 30, it's your possession. Oh no,
If you
no,
score.
right where you're kicking it from. So if you're kicking it from 30 and you get to midfield, you have possession.
What if you score?
You have a touchdown.
So it would be kickoff,
It's
touchdown.
just like the onside kickoff. You score a touchdown, the onside kickoff, it's a touchdown.
Yeah, but I think
If they pick it off and run
you
it back,
can't
it's a
you
touchdown
can't
for them.
advance it, right?
Yes, you can. Onside kickoffs have been run back. As long as you don't
The
fall
other
to the
way.
ground and you pick it up cleanly, yeah.
The other
seen
way,
it
the
happen.
receiving team can.
I've seen it happen from the kicking team.
All right,
Because they
doesn't matter.
all right, so
They
check
don't
it
do
out.
it anyway.
Check it out. It's circumstantial because now it's a surprise. If it hits someone on the receiving team, it's
Mhm.
a live ball.
Right.
So now you can pick it up and run it. It's not like if you just cover it after 10 yards and the receiving team doesn't touch it, yes,
Yeah.
you can't advance it.
You can't advance it.
But if the other team, if it hits someone on the other team and bounces off
Fly
it,
ball.
like remember the old day we would say pick your bitch to kick onside
Yeah.
to?
Yeah.
That's a live ball.
Still teaching it.
You can run that back.
Still
Yeah.
teaching it to
Yeah.
this day.
Yeah. But you can run that back. So yeah, it just again, I know it's not something that happens a lot frequently at all, but it's just another aspect you've stolen from me. You know,
Yeah.
another aspect of football that you've wiped out of existence. We talked about this last year. The Saints onside kick in the Super Bowl can't ever happen again.
Right.
You know,
Right. The Eagles starting the season against Dallas with the onside kick.
can't do it again.
Can't do
Yeah,
it.
can't do it again. So anyway, Eagles in a good spot going into the draft. Just trying to like kind of fill a couple of holes. You know, almost like a highway that's well paved, and you got a little pothole over there. You just got to fill it up a little bit. You know, you don't want it becoming like 95 and collapsing. You got to fill the pothole.
There was a fire under that, and a guy died. You fucking asshole.
I'm not making fun of that.
Yeah, you
I'm just
were.
I'm just comparing a highway to football. That's all.
Oh my god.
You know.
So
So,
you just plane crash too in the middle of the cut out.
bro, you don't want to crash
Made a
the
big
plane
pothole.
in the Northeast. You don't want to do that. Fill the pothole, right? So you gotta, so your team's doing that. My team is what it is, I guess. I mean, I don't know what it is. I think Aaron Glenn's going to be good. I don't think it's going to be instant. I'll be thrilled if the Jets win 7 games this year. I would think that that's a good step in the right direction. 7, 8 games. I'd like to see Justin Fields become more competent throwing the ball downfield. I want to see them use his legs, let him run RPO all fucking day with that kid, and rebuild the defense a little bit. And I believe Aaron Glenn will do that because he's a defensive guy. It's the side of the ball he comes from. So I have hope. Obviously, I got Buffalo in my fucking division, which doesn't make it easier. The Patriots now got the coach I wanted in Vrabel, and the Patriot way is back. He's got Josh McDaniels back. They seem to have found their quarterback now. It's not going to be easy. I mean, is it ever
trying to rebuild that AFC East again?
I'm just trying to get to the playoffs for once.
The playoffs.
I just want one time. I never get to do it. When am I ever going to get to fucking see him?
Playoffs?
You know?
Don't talk about
Never.
it. Playoffs? You kidding
Yeah, I
me?
can't
Never.
talk about
Playoffs?
Never.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it.
it. Yeah. Anyway. All right, Mike. Well, that'll wrap it up for this episode of the I-95 podcast, Battle for I-95 podcast, brought to you by Easy Moving. Moving sucks. It's absolute ass. Do it the easy way. Servicing Fairfield Removal in New York. For Frank and for myself and for my friend Mike. We will see you next time.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Go Yankees.